A few years ago, I was completely broke. I was wasting hours scrolling through Instagram. But now, I make over $2,000 a day. Now, what changed? To be honest with you, my circumstances didn't magically change, and I didn't magically wake up with more money one day. What changed was myself, my decisions. So, let me get straight to the point. The difference between being broke and making serious money isn't luck or privilege, contrary to what most people think, especially if you're from the United States, Canada, UK, or Europe. It's about what you do with your 24 hours. I mean, if you just look at things plainly, most people are trapped in a cycle of comfort and distraction. And I'm going to show you exactly how I broke free and made a shit ton of money so you can do it too. Now, growing up in the lower middle class showed me what financial struggle looks like. My dad was a nurse and my mom a nursing assistant. We weren't poor technically speaking, but money was always tight. Every day I'd see my parents just work themselves to exhaustion just to keep us afloat. And I felt like there was just so much more to life than just that. And that lit a fire in me. I knew I needed to do something different. Back in 2018, 2019, when I was in high school, I tried dropshipping with a buddy. Now, the funny story is that we got our first sale within 30 minutes of launching ads and we were complete beginners. But guess what? We couldn't even scale because we ran out of money for ads. And that is a classic beginner mistake. We lost everything we put in. And that's why, as a beginner, you don't go to ads unless you're trained properly by a successful mentor and you have a lot of capital to potentially burn through. A few $1,000s at the bare minimum. After my first failure in the realm of online business, I jumped from one online business model to another. Affiliate marketing, print on demand, selling ebooks, you name it, I've tried it. But nothing stuck. I was that guy watching hundreds of how to make money online videos all day instead of actually building something real, a business that would make me a lot of money. The worst part wasn't failing, it was looking at my mom in the eyes over lunch when she'd ask me how my business was going. I hated it. I would tell her, I'm just doing what it takes, you have to trust me, it's gonna work out. But the truth is, deep down, I was terrified I was wasting my life and I'd never make it. What's really preventing you from finding success and making more money right now, it's not a lack of opportunity. It's the lack of clear direction. When you don't know exactly what steps to take, your brain defaults to what's comfortable. For me, that meant binge watching YouTube videos instead of building a business. The turning point wasn't finding some magical business model. It was developing a clear process that eliminated decision fatigue. So let me break this down for you in ridiculously simple terms. First, I really want you to understand this fundamental truth. Clarity equals speed. When you know exactly what to do, procrastination literally disappears. Most people waste time because they lack a crystal clear direction. I'm gonna be honest with you, I spent 3 years jumping between different business models because I didn't have clarity. I would get started on something like dropshipping, print on demand, whatever, get confused or overwhelmed, and then abandon it to move on to the next shiny object. Does that sound familiar? Because that's probably what you're doing right now. And my breakthrough came when I stopped chasing tactics and started focusing on solving real problems for real people. So I began helping agency owners and consultants to get more leads and calls. It wasn't sexy or trendy, but because I understood their pain points, it worked. I remember the day I signed my first high-ticket client for over $1,000. I literally ran to my mom to show her the notification on my phone. And 5 days later, the crazy thing is, another client paid me even more, and then the momentum just kept building like that. Now, everyone tells you that motivation leads to action, right? It's actually the other way around. Action is what creates motivation, because results fuel your enthusiasm. You don't magically become motivated sitting on your couch while you're watching Netflix. Small wins are what create momentum, and each time you accomplish something meaningful, you get your first message, your first call, your first customer, your brain releases dopamine, giving you energy for the next task. This isn't some self-help nonsense, it's literally just neuroscience. You could try to start a business around your passion, but if you don't know what you're doing, you're not following a proven step-by-step process, and you don't get any customers, any results, very quickly you're going to start to hate it. That's because you're not getting results, so motivation fades. Most people wait to feel ready before they start, but that feeling of being ready, it never comes. You'll never feel ready. The successful few, what they do is that they start before they feel ready, and they let results drive their motivation. Let me be brutally honest about why most online businesses fail. They're built on hype, on trends, not on value. If you want sustainable income that lasts month after month, not just based on a trend, you want to package your knowledge or your unique perspective into something people willingly pay premium prices for. I call this the PTP method. passion to profit. When you solve a specific problem for a specific person, they will happily pay you good money. You're doing them a favor. Here's where my approach might upset some people. If you're working a traditional job, your income is capped. You're trading time for money, and there are only so many hours in a day. You can't spend 24 hours a day working every day of the year. The math simply doesn't work for building real wealth. But what's amazing with an online business is that you can make money while you sleep if you do it right. My first $2,000 a day happened while I was literally just having dinner. When you get to the point where you're having dinner with friends and your phone is buzzing with payment notifications, that freedom is priceless. Your environment either propels you forward or holds you back, and we make no exceptions. Even when I was broke, I made it a priority to regularly visit luxury hotels, high-end restaurants, and even to see successful entrepreneurs, not to show off, but to reprogram my brain to believe wealth was possible for me. When I was younger, I took my dad to the Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes dealership to show him all the sports cars. And when you see that a car costs $400,000, it opens up your mind to so many possibilities, because you think, some people buy a car like that every year in cash. Most people's house isn't even worth that much. So if some people can do it, I need to figure out how to do it too. And when you start to think like this, your mind opens up to so many possibilities. Instead of thinking, oh, I can't do it, you ask yourself, how can I do it? And that changes everything. The thing is that if you're constantly surrounded by people who play small, your ambition basically shrinks to match them. Your brain needs concrete examples of success to believe it's achievable for you. That's not some woo-woo manifesting BS, it's psychological conditioning. So even when I was broke, I started visiting the nicest areas in my city just to walk around and observe. Your subconscious mind builds your reality based on your surroundings. Broke environments keep you broke. Another huge mistake I see people making is wasting years trying to figure everything out alone. I wasted 3 years of my life, even more actually, doing this. The turning point came when I invested in mentorship. I paid someone who already achieved what I wanted to achieve, and he showed me the shortcuts. You always pay for success, either with your time or with money. And trust me, time is far more expensive. A good mentor collapses years into months. You learn faster, you move faster, you get results faster. What would have taken me another year to learn on my own took weeks with the proper guidance. Smart people learn from their own mistakes, but people who are even smarter and more successful, they learn from the mistakes of others. They shortcut the process. Now, a real game changer for my productivity was the 80-20 principle. You have to understand that 80% of your results come from only 20% of your actions. And the thing is that most people spend their days on the 80% of tasks that barely move the needle. I ruthlessly eliminated everything that wasn't making me money directly. So those 3-hour-long morning routines and endless research sessions, they're gone. Just get rid of them. I identified the 20% of activities bringing in money and doubled down on them. That's how you beat 99% of people, literally. Now for me, that meant focusing almost exclusively on client acquisition and delivery. Everything else, social media posting, endless planning, fancy website tweaks, it all fell away. My income immediately jumped. So let me give you a concrete example. When I got started, I used to spend hours creating the perfect social media posts that got a lot of likes but 0 customers. When I shifted that same time to direct outreach or targeted content to attract my potential customers, my income tripled extremely fast. Discipline isn't about forcing yourself to do the things that you hate. It's about gaining clarity, because when you know exactly what actions generate results, then discipline naturally follows. My problem wasn't laziness, it was confusion. Once I had a clear step-by-step process for client acquisition, my procrastination vanished. I knew exactly what to do each day, in what order and why it mattered. The guesswork disappeared. So you want to stop consuming endless content or how to make money online videos and start implementing what you already know. Sometimes people know enough, but they're not applying it consistently. And I can tell you for a fact that implementation beats information every single time. So I limited myself to only 60 minutes of learning each day, and I dedicate the rest to taking action. When you do this, the results are immediate and shocking. I made more progress in a week than I previously made in months combined. Now, making more money and success requires radical ownership of your time. So I began treating each hour as a non-renewable resource, because that's exactly what it is. Would I spend an hour scrolling through Instagram? Or would I rather use it to reach out to 5 potential customers? Well, the math becomes obvious. Every time you say, I don't have time, replace it with, it's not a priority. This simple reframe exposes your true values. When building wealth became my genuine priority, I magically found the time for it. The hard truth most influencers won't tell you is that building real wealth requires short-term sacrifice. I stopped going out with friends who weren't aligned with my goals. I lived well below my means to reinvest in my business, and I still do today. I literally barely spend anything on personal needs. I worked weekends while others were partying. I was dedicated to the success of my customers. But here's what you need to understand. The sacrifice is temporary, because when you focus on that small period of sacrifice, you will live the rest of your life like a king. Now I have more freedom, more options, and yes, also more money than I ever imagined possible. $2,000 a day isn't even the ceiling, it's literally just the beginning. The secret to my productivity isn't willpower or special genetics, like hell no, it's systems. There's a quote I love that goes, "You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." So I built routines that eliminated decision fatigue. Every evening what I do, I plan my next day in exact detail, what I'm gonna work on, for how long, and in what order. My phone stays on airplane mode until I've completed my 3 most important tasks each morning, and I make no exceptions. So these are not just friendly suggestions. For me, they're non-negotiable rules that protect my time and my energy and allow me to make way more money. Most people spread themselves too thin trying to master multiple skills simultaneously. I focused exclusively on one skill until eventually I stopped sucking at it, helping business owners to get more clients through strategic outreach and targeted content. When you specialize in one area, it accelerates success because you focus on one thing instead of focusing on 10,000 different things. The biggest myth in online business is that you need to be everywhere, post on every platform, jump on every trend, follow every opportunity. That is the fastest track to burnout and mediocrity. I chose one channel, one offer, one audience, and dominated it before expanding. Now, something I really want you to understand is that your income will never exceed your self-image, period. I had to deliberately upgrade my identity from being a struggling entrepreneur to being a successful entrepreneur before my income followed suit. How you see yourself sets the ceiling for your success. You'll never do more than how you see yourself. You'll never achieve more than what you think you're capable of. So I started speaking, dressing, and making decisions as if I was already earning $2,000 per day. It's not exactly fake it till you make it. It's a conscious identity reconstruction. Your brain can only create what it can first imagine. Something else you need to understand is that you need to stop chasing motivation and start building momentum. Each small win compounds into an unstoppable force. My first $1,000 client led to referrals, which led to testimonials, which led to higher prices and more customers. You have to understand that success generates success. The more you win, the easier it becomes to win. Most people overcomplicate making money. You need to find pain points people willingly pay to solve, create solutions, and get those solutions in front of the right people. Everything else is literally just a distraction. Passive income isn't passive to build. I worked 14-hour days for months to create systems that now generate income while I sleep. The freedom is real, but the path requires intense focus and effort upfront. Now, if you were to ask me, what's the best part about making $2,000 per day, it's not even the money. It's the freedom of choice. I work on a business I love because I want to, not because I have to. In the morning, I don't have to wake up to work a soul-crushing 9-to-5 job because I need to pay the bills. And that shift, it's worth more than any dollar amount. The truth is that if you're stuck in procrastination right now, you don't need another productivity hack. You need clarity on exactly what actions move your business forward and the courage to eliminate everything else. Because sometimes it feels comfortable to do a lot of stuff. But what if the stuff that you're doing is just not leading anywhere? If you make the hard choices now, watch how your life is going to transform. Believe me, a year from now, you will wish you had started today. The time is going to pass anyway. The question is whether you will use it to build something meaningful or just continue the cycle of consumption and frustration. I am living proof that your background doesn't determine your future. I grew up in a low middle class family and have been able to make upwards of $2,000 per day. So stop waiting for permission to succeed. Stop making excuses about your circumstances. Start taking ownership of your time, your decisions, and your results. If I was able to go from zero to making upwards of $2,000 per day, if I could do it, you can too. Let me tell you something barely anyone talks about. Success is lonely at first. When I started taking my business seriously, people thought I was crazy. Why do you work so hard? They would ask me. What they didn't understand was that I wasn't working for today, I was building for tomorrow. Your circle of friends will either elevate you or drain you. I had to make the painful decision to distance myself from people who weren't aligned with my vision. It wasn't personal, it was necessary. The 5 people you spend the most time with determine your trajectory. Here's a powerful exercise I did. I wrote down exactly what my ideal day would look like if money wasn't an issue, where I'd live, what I'd do, who I'd spend time with. Then, I reverse engineered what business model would support that lifestyle. And for me, that was the PTP method, turning my knowledge into a high-ticket offer that solves a painful problem for a specific type of person. I see so many entrepreneurs chasing vanity metrics like followers, likes, or comments instead of focusing on revenue-generating activities. I deleted social media apps from my phone for 6 months while I was building my business. That was the best decision I ever made because my focus skyrocketed. I wasn't wasting time scrolling on Insta anymore. If you want the brutal truth about being more productive, you have to understand that your environment will always win against more power. So for that, I completely redesigned my workspace, eliminated all potential distractions, and created an environment that made success the path of least resistance. Now, let's talk about fear. Everyone feels it. The difference is, successful people act in spite of it. I still get nervous before sales calls, before launching new offers or raising my prices, or testing a new ad. The fear doesn't go away. You just learn to dance with it rather than letting it paralyze you. The money you have in your bank account is simply a reflection of how much value you provide to the marketplace. When I stopped focusing on making money and started obsessing over creating genuine value for clients, the money followed naturally. It's a subtle but critical shift in mindset. Your thoughts create your reality. I used to wake up thinking, will I ever make this work? Now I ask myself, how can I provide even more value today? That simple shift in daily questions transformed my results. Your questions direct your focus. Most people major in minor things. They perfect their logo while their offer remains unclear. They tweak their website while neglecting client outreach, which is way more important. Success comes from doing the important but uncomfortable task first, every single day. The moment everything changed for me was when I stopped treating my business like a hobby and started treating it like a real business. Hobbies don't have deadlines. They have no urgency. Hobbies don't have consequences for inaction, but real businesses do. So which one are you running right now? A hobby or an actual business? Focusing isn't about doing more things. It's about doing fewer things with greater intensity. I eliminated literally everything from my schedule that wasn't directly related to growing my income. I didn't take unnecessary meetings. I didn't do pick your brain coffee dates, and I had no distractions. You have to understand that your self-discipline is directly proportional to your self-worth. When you truly believe you deserve success, you will do what is necessary without external pressure. So many people get this wrong. Self-discipline isn't about punishment, it's about self-respect. Most people never reach their potential because they negotiate with themselves. They say, oh, I'm just gonna check Instagram for 5 minutes. And then it turns into an hour. I created non-negotiable blocks of focused work time. I made no exceptions and I had no excuses. That is what separates wishers from doers. The path to $2,000 a day, it's not complicated, to be honest with you. It's just not easy. And that's precisely why so few people actually achieve it. They want the results without the work, without the resistance. But growth and making more money only happens when you push through discomfort. So embrace the struggle. With that being said, if you want to discover the PTP method in detail, what it is, how it works, and how it made me upwards of $2,000 per day with just my laptop and my knowledge, I invite you to check out the free training in the description below. But be quick, because I don't know for how long I'm going to keep sharing this for free. With that being said, I'll see you on the other side.